be watching you. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to William's service today. But I think everyone knew him as Bill. Surely. I wanted to just ask just a few things and let you know. So just in case you had a mobile phone, would you be kind enough? There's always one, Kent. Always. It could be you. It's Linda. Yeah. And a couple of other important things following today's Bill's service. You're heading to Nerang, to the RSL Club, and you're all welcome to join the family. And I imagine it's there that there'll be a couple of stories that will be shared amongst family and friends. Also, there is a number of people that weren't able to attend today that will be watching on via our live stream. So this message is just for you. There'll be an important part of our service today where there's a photographic tribute to Bill. And when that occurs, you'll notice that there's a camera icon and you just click on that and select slideshow so you'll be able to watch on with our photographic tribute. There's a few people, I think, that have travelled from faraway places, and I just wanted to also acknowledge Kent's mother and father-in-law, Paul and Kayleen. Now, I'm not sure I'm going to pronounce that town. Can you pronounce it for me, Kent? Yeah, that was... Coonabarabran. And brother-in-law Steve from Woy Woy on the Central Coast, so thank you. I wrote an ode to Bill. And it's called An Ode to William, Bill, Grumblebum and More. In the heart of Gateshead, where art blooms bright and the Millennium Bridge spans day and night, lived William, a man of character and might, known as Bill Grumblebum, a true and guiding light. From Baltic Centre's contemporary art scene to clanging echoes of the millennium's gleam, he was born a son with dreams yet unseen. And life's tapestry weaved his chapters serene. As a son, he cherished Hap, full of cheer, her happiness a beacon ever near. His dad, Half-Pint, stood tall with no fear. Though small in stature, love's magnitude was clear. Margie, his sister, a bond steadfast, their kinship enduring memories amassed. And Linda, his wife, in love they basked. Together they embraced life's swirling blast. A bugler, a soldier, his duty he'd heed. In the British cadets he'd play the lead. Territorial army enlistment decreed, a life of service fulfilling his creed. As a dance teacher, he shared his passion wide. Victor Sylvester's grace his footsteps would glide. From Gateshead to South Australia's side, he danced through life with his heart open wide. Cement works, General Motors' realm, Barossa Valley witnessed his steadfast helm. Enlisted anew, Australian Army's realm, Department of Finance marked his final memoirs film. Fish and chips, a gastronomic delight. Baked beans on toast, Yorkshire pudding's height. Toad in a hole, a feast to excite. Dietitians' nightmares, he laughed with delight. Procrastinator, a trait he wore with pride. Tomorrow's task delayed, though not denied. A grumblebum, voicing thoughts far and wide, yet with a gentle politeness he'd always abide. Persistent in his pursuits, he'd persevere. Through life's twists and turns, both far and near, he'd drag the kids to ballroom's grand sphere. Jive, rock and roll, music's magic so dear. Classic cars, Volvos, his love knew no bounds. Their sleek frames and engines, a symphony of sounds. In the celestial pub, where angels unite, pints of lager, rum, coke ignite. Bill and Margie share stories, their spirits alight. I toast to life, live fully in memory's sight. So let's raise a glass to Bill so dear, his presence forever in our hearts sincere. His spirit dances on, void of fear, in the tapestry of life. His legacy we revere. Thank you. Are we having chats about the book, Mark? Yeah. These are so much better than a booklet. They're practical. And I think that's when you got your favourite book and you put them in there and you'll think of Bill. No? Wonderful image. Family and friends, we're here to honour and to pay our respects, but also to celebrate Bill's life. William Willis, best known as Bill. My name's Dean Aitken, and while I didn't have the privilege of meeting Bill, I've spoken to his family. And from their perspective, I gathered just they believed how fortunate and blessed they were to have him a part of their life. And I imagine today, as you listen on to the stories and you see some photographs that we'll share, that you'll see your part in all of this story, because each and every one of you played a character in his life. I would like to say, on behalf of the family, thank you so much for being here today to pay your respects. And I would like to say, on behalf of those afar and those of you that are here, to the family, our sincere and heartfelt condolences to you. William was known by many names. Yes, that's true. Bill, Grumblebum, and even Half Pint. His tale spans 88 years, remarkable years, during which he embraced numerous roles as a dutiful son, loyal brother, devoted husband, father, grandfather, great-grandfather, friend and respected teacher and mentor. On behalf of Bill's family, I would like to share their tributes. Linda's tribute. So where do I begin with Bill? How about the word persistence? As many of you know, Bill and I met, and I was a sound 16, 17 years old at ballroom dancing class called Victor Sylvester's Now, we're talking old school. But what most people didn't know, that every time I spotted Bill heading across the dance floor towards me, I swiftly disappeared into the ladies' cloakroom before he got there. This went on, I might add, for some time, and that word persistence reared its head. Until somehow we ended up having a dance with him, and the rest, as many of you know, wow, is history. Our dance world increased when we immigrated to Australia into the rock and roll scene, to which became the president of the ACT Rock and Roll Club. But gradually, one by one, our family became involved and expanded down the line with the addition to our first granddaughter, Shawny. Shawny, would you put up your hand? Wow, they would have been so excited when you started. Our next dance journey took us to Sarok Modern Jive, as commonly known, further expanding our world of dance. And once again, our family joined us on that journey. Even our second granddaughter, Chandra, she joined in and put her toe in the water, and as they say, having a few small lessons on the home front with Belinda, her mum. Shawny enjoyed a few lessons from her dad, Kent, and loved every minute she could manage to dance with her dad. Not sure if the two great-grandchildren, Beau and Amelia, could I see Beau and Amelia? Yeah. Not sure if they will follow on in their footsteps, but without Bill's persistence, none of our family would be here today. Did I mention that Bill was still dancing modern jive till he was 80, or was it 81 years old? Just another link in the chain. Kent is married to Jenna, and guess where they met? You got it, at the dance class, and they have a beautiful stepdaughter, Lila, to complete the family. Anyone guessing dancing must be in our blood? Yes. But did I mention Bill was also in the Defence Force? But maybe that's a story for another day. Thank you, Linda. And there is a few of his medals too up there to pay respects to his service to both in the UK and here. Belinda's tribute. We had to laugh. Dad, for a long time, had been searching for his special RSL shirt that he bought, and he got really cranky every time we mentioned it to him because he couldn't find it. When deciding on Dad's clothes for today, I said it would be nice if we could find the shirt for him to wear. Ma, Chandra and I started pulling clothes out of bags, drawers, and then his wardrobe. It took no longer than 15 minutes when Ma yells, "I found it." It was hanging in his wardrobe the whole time. But for some strange reason, he hung everything inside out. So we are happy to be sending Dad off in his shirt that he wanted to wear. Yeah, it's a good story. Love Dad. He was the loudest cheerleader, whether it was on the sidelines of the soccer pitch, basketball game, dance competitions, or athletics, to name a few. I always used to joke that you could hear Dad at the other side of the athletics track as he had such a loud roar. Dad was sneaky. When going to get the paper from the newsagents on a Sunday morning, he would take us kids to buy a chocolate bar. And we had to eat it before getting home and hide the evidence so that Mum didn't find out. Now, Dad had a motorbike at one stage. This was good. A couple of times he took me to school on the back of it. I used to lean the other way, as Dad was a big man in those days, and I thought we were going to hit the ground when we're going around the bends and corners. He looked hilarious in his wet weather outfit. We used to call him the Goodyear Blimp, as he wore a full jumpsuit in bright yellow matte colour, and you could see him coming a mile away. Over the years, Both Mum and Dad got many compliments on their dancing. I didn't dance with him much, as I always wanted to lead. Dad missed his only opportunity to parade in front of the Queen in Jamaica. A more senior ranked person had the wrong pants, so Dad had to loan him his pants and the bloke missed out on being up close and personal with the Queen. I'm going to miss my silent twin. We both don't talk much, and we both sit quietly listening. Dad with his eyes shut, and me giving him heaps for having his eyes shut. Kind regards, BJ. Kent's Tribune, Kent Willis. Some of you know him as William. Most know him as Bill. I just know him as Dad. I have fond memories of my dad as a kid, and some not so fond. Like the day he broke my collarbone when I was 4, having a wrestle on the lounge room floor at our house in Aranda. Don't worry if it was total accident. And child services didn't exist back then, so there wasn't too much explaining to do at the hospital. Lucky that was 1974, and today you'd probably get a jail term. The incident, though, was not a true reflection of Dad. Yes, he was scary, constantly threatening both myself and BJ that if we didn't fall into line, he'd use his army belt on our backside, or even bigger threat, I'll skin you alive. He had a machete issued by the army. But deep down, Dad was a biggest softie. He hated disciplining his kids, but he put on the tough act well. Dad used to love his cars and technology. We seemed to turn over cars like Christmas dinners, constantly something new in the garage. So Jenna, if you wonder where my habits come from, yep, that was Dad. New turntable, amplifiers, speakers, TVs and VCRs were his cup of tea. And I loved learning about all of them from Dad. I have great memories of Dad showing me how to download music in the early 80s with a radio and tape deck. Sitting one in front of the other, listening to the top 40 on a Sunday night and trying to press record and pause so there was no radio guy's voice on the recording, just the music. We would make mixtapes, now called playlists for anyone younger here today. That's now called Spotify. For those that don't know, Dad had a varied career from serving in both the British and Australian Army to having a stint working in Tripoli, Germany and Jamaica. This is where his rum drinking days began. Working at the cement works in the Barossa to working at General Motors Holden in Elizabeth in South Australia. Dad spent 20 years in the Army here in Australia as a warrant officer. We were fortunate enough not to be your typical Army kids and get posted every 2 years. All our life was spent in Canberra, so we didn't have to go through the routine of a new school, new friends constantly, which we are very grateful for. Dad served out his last working years working for the Department of Finance in their computer room as a programmer. As I started to grow older, Dad introduced me to shandies. For those that don't know, that's a combination of beer and lemonade. Now, back in the day, Dad used to drink Tooheys Draft and KB in the old, dimpled gold can. Probably the worst beers ever invented. But I liked that Dad would give me a sip, and it was always a very small tradition at family barbecues. Great memories of my 8th birthday. Just kidding. If you didn't know, Dad was a bit of a hoarder. Oh yes. And was until the day he passed. Kent recalls in my teens, BJ, Mum and I got together one weekend when Dad was away and did a garage clean out. It was the only time we could ever get in and throw stuff out that Dad would never use. And there was trailer loads that we took from the garage, and lo and behold, when Dad came back, he had no idea what had been ditched. I can only imagine soon what relics we'll discover. Although just this week I was going through some paperwork and stuff with Ma and Shawny and uncovered the original brochure to the house plans for our house in Kayleen, built back in 1975. It was actually really cool. So I'm looking forward to going down memory lane with the family and see what else we might find. He was also great at collecting information of our family history. I was given a briefcase just last week with family documents in, like passports, birth certificates, marriage certificates that stem back over many, many generations. All originals and all kept in Dad's favourite way, plastic sleeves. There was one for every piece of paper he ever owned. But to his credit, they looked as new as the day they were printed. So his obsession with plastic sleeve has served a greater purpose. Dad was a very generous man. We used to fight in line at the club as to who was paying for dinner or drinks. Later in life, I got to understand that it was Dad's love language in treating others. So these fights subsided and I would just let Dad have his way. Even when I first learned to drive, I would say, "Hey Dad, can I borrow $20 for some fuel?" And he'd accommodate every time, never expecting to see $20 again and never wanting to take it back even when I occasionally offered. Dance was Dad's thing. From teacher, ballroom at Victor Sylvester Studios to Monaro Dance Studio in Canberra to our dance studio, Mora Party venue in McGregor, Dad loved to dance. I have great memories of Dad dancing with Mum and others in our studio at home dancing ballroom. I just love to watch such a robust, rounded frame glide around the floor. He seriously just used to float. I've always wanted to do the same, and one day we'll follow through on this dream. Based in Canberra, Dad, Mum and BJ ran the Ciroc Modern Jive Dance Company for a number of years and introduced a number of people to dancing scene and have, as a result, many great friendships around the country and globe, all stemming from dancing. Dad was never one to take the spotlight in his roles in these companies, but was more about being able to promote the art of dance and the community that it formed. He was very humble in that regard. He never craved attention or thanks. He just wanted to leave more of a legacy for others to enjoy what he had enjoyed all his life and what brought him, Mum, then his family together. Dad still attended my dance classes on Friday night at Broadbeach Senior Citizens Club up until he was 80, doing the beginner class, helping all the new ladies learn the basics. I was so proud when I used to get comments from students not knowing he was my dad, saying how much they enjoyed dancing with him and what a gentleman he was. Guess I had to get it from someone. You've worded this well, Ken, haven't you, mate? Yeah. Dad loved his family, especially his grandkids. You could see Dad light up as soon as he'd seen them. His great-grandkids came along a lot later in life, and unfortunately, with many living so far away, didn't really get the time to see them as much as he would have liked. But when he did, he absolutely loved it and always asked after them. Dad, we are proud of you. Yes, we used to refer to you as a grumpy old fart, but you knew deep down, and especially more recently, we loved you dearly and we know you loved us in return. You will be sadly missed by all that were blessed to know you and be around you. Although you will be missed, your legacy continues through people and dance, and we are now blessed to know you are no longer in pain. We know you will be enjoying a warm beer with your dad, Half Pint Tom, a rum with your sister, Margie, and a hug with your mum, Hap. We love you, Dad, and we can't wait to see you again in the future. Thank you. Yeah. He did good, didn't he? Yeah. You know, we do our best to try and express ourselves in words, and I think the family has done that justice today. Sometimes it's a little easier with a photograph, and the family's chosen a number of photographs to share with you today to give you even more of Bill's life in pictures. And they'll play a piece of music which you'll be familiar with, I'm sure. Jive Bunny, Swing the Mood. Thank you. You did a terrific job. Okay? It was uplifting. I could watch everybody smiling, BJ. Okay? Yeah, wonderful. And what a song, eh? We've got one more that's a beauty too. On such occasions, it can be really hard to know what to say to one another. You know, sometimes we haven't caught up with our family and friends in quite some time. You know, sometimes words just don't truly convey how we feel. But sometimes we just show up and that says a great deal. So again, on behalf of the family, thanks for showing up. Eh? As we bid farewell to William, Bill, today at the Narang RSL, let's raise a glass, a rum and coke, and the laughter that you may have shared with him, the light-hearted moments that he brought into your lives, and the lessons he taught you with his quirks and virtues. May his legacy of humour, kindness, and that never give up spirit, I'll get you, Linda, and he did, inspire you all. Rest easy, Bill. Your spirit will live on, always dancing in those hearts you loved. Would you please be upstanding? In the ballroom of life he twirled and spun. Rock and roll rhythms jived till the day was done. His dance moves a symphony of grace. Now he takes his final bow, leaving a vibrant trace. With every step he embraced the beat. Now he rests in eternal peace, his dance complete. Underneath the radar. Thank you.
Please report to the dance floor.
About it, it's something fun. Hey, what is the point in losing sleep about it?